What's up, everybody? I'm Bert Wagner, and today we're going to take a look at what it takes to prepare for presenting at an online conference. The other day I was thinking back to when DVDs first came out. I remember playing the extra features on a DVD with all the behind-the-scenes footage of how a movie gets made. Watching directors and actors on set, and then how the special effects artists were adding, lightsabers and explosions and everything else to the film. I just found all that really cool to be able to see how a movie gets made. Fast forward to the present day, and I still like knowing how things are made, except today it's more of a focus on my SQL Server background. So I figured, why don't I try doing something similar? I knew I had a presentation coming up at the online GroupBy conference, and I thought, why not film everything as I prepared for the conference so I could show you, the viewers, what I do to basically prepare. So today I'm going to show you all the steps I took to prepare for that conference. So step one was preparing my presentation for the conference. Fortunately, I was presenting on JSON in SQL Server 2016, and I already had done that presentation in the past, so I didn't have to create slides and demos from scratch. I already had a lot of that pre-prepared. What I did have to do, though, is go through all of the things that I've learned since my last presentation, and that might be just things that I've learned on my own, or people leave comments for me, send me emails, questions that I get at the end of other previous presentations, right, that generate a lot of good content. And obviously that's stuff that I've missed in past presentations, so for all future presentations, I'd like to do a better job of including that information. So I go through my slides, I update them, I update any demos, I take out what didn't work, put in more of what did work, answer those questions that people were having after the last presentation, and just rework my deck to make it a better presentation. So after I had all my slides prepared, I just had to rehearse them. All right, Charlie, JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. I focused on the areas that were new to the presentation and I hadn't practiced before, especially those new demos. The next step was the night before, I wanted to make sure I had all my video, lighting, sound equipment set up so that the day of I didn't have to worry about getting that set up. I used to be a professional wedding photographer for a few years, and that comes as both a blessing and a curse when it comes to something like this. On one hand, I have enough photography equipment to probably start my own rental business. The downside to that is it makes me really picky about how I set things up. Probably takes more time than it needs to. Probably also doesn't need to be done, but just for my own sanity, I like to do it. I like to test it. I want to make sure everything looks good. After that, what I did is I go through my usual presentation routine of, turning quiet mode on my laptop to make sure no notifications of Dropbox or OneDrive or, email notifications popping up in the corner of my screen. No one wants to see that. Also, since I was presenting at home, I had one variable that I'm not typically used to dealing with, and that's my cat. So in order to persuade him to be good while I presented, I didn't really want to lock him up in a room because then he might start meowing because he's lonely or whatever. I just made sure, he was well fed, give him some extra food, and cross my fingers that everything would work. You gonna leave me alone? And that was it. And that was presentation time. I had a great time presenting. It's fun to present online. If you're not used to speaking in front of large groups of people, this is a great way to speak in front of a large group of people, but without actually having to see them in the audience. So, like an online presentation or webinar or anything like that is a really interesting experience from that standpoint. If you're interested in learning about JSON and SQL Server, I'll link to the actual presentation below so you can watch that, and then you can actually see the real action footage and the behind the scenes footage. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe below, and I'll see you same time, same place next week. Thanks.